Hey yo. Before I start, I have a special treat for you guys. So this is my dad. He grew up in the Bob Marley era. He went to see the movie yesterday. How'd you feel about the Bob Marley movie?
It was a good movie. I loved it. I cried. I'm not one to cry at a theater. Sometimes you watch certain movies and, the emotion build.
What did you think of Kingsley's portrayal of Bob Marley?
Some people have mixed feelings about it. He's a good actor. I say he nailed it. He did a good job. I didn't hear no butchering of my accent. The patois was right on.
And if there's one thing that you would want people to take away from watching this movie, what would it be?
That is all about Rastafarian, Rastafari, Haile Selassie. Bob Marley is a Rasta man. He learned from Rasta. It's the culture that he portrays Rasta. The music that he sings is Rasta. Everything about the movie is Rastafari. So people should learn from this. And at this time when there's a lot of weird movie coming out about aliens and demons and all of these bad stuff, this was the right time to drop this biopic of Rastafari, Bob Marley, Rastafari and the movement. So I say everyone should go and watch it and judge for yourself. Make your own opinion on it and have your own say on it. And you go from there.
The time has come. After a 2-year build-up, the long-awaited Bob Marley One Love movie hit the theaters, and I loved every single second of it. See, I was actually going to see it opening weekend, but due to the snowstorm last week Thursday and other circumstances beyond my control, meaning work, I had to wait until today to see it. So it would have been nice if, Paramount had invited me to like an advanced screening or the premiere or something. I mean, you would think after talking about the movie for 2 videos, they'd holla at a brother, but hey, I digress. So from the day of its release till now, I did a really good job at straying away from any reviews of this movie because quite frankly, I didn't want to go into this movie with any outside perspective on it. This one was a very personal one for me, so I didn't want anybody to spoil it. Though after watching the movie, I did go back and watch some of y'all reviews on the movie, so consider this review a broad response to a lot of it. Now, first off, I don't like to be the I told you so guy, but I'm gonna need everybody who ever said anything bad about the casting to apologize to Kingsley Ben-Adir. Did I not say that Kingsley was gonna do his homework on Bob Marley and eat the hell out of this role? I had faith that Kingsley would do his homework on not just Bob Marley, but Jamaican culture as a whole. Oh wait! I did! And boy was I right. Kingsley captured the essence of Bob Marley very well, not coming off as an impression or impersonation of the man. As a matter of fact, there were moments in this movie where I didn't see Bob Marley, the reggae superstar. I saw Bob Marley, the man, the human being. This movie helps to humanize Bob, not mystify him, and Kingsley does a really good job at adding those dimensions that are partially shown in some of Bob's interviews.
It's a war of survival of a people. A rascal thing. We don't want our children come blood clot suffer in the streets again, man, like how we suffer.
Also, shout out to Lashana Lynch as Rita Marley. She did phenomenally. Everybody in this movie acted down. They understood the assignment and brought their A game. And the patois in this movie was spectacular. As somewhat of a Jamaican background, you best believe I understood every line said, every word of dialogue. This was the type of representation we needed to see on the big screen. It almost makes up for Cool Runnings. Also, it was funny to see that Brad Pitt executive produced this movie too, so that almost makes up for
everything gonna be irie.
Even seeing the Rastafarian rituals on the big screen brought tears to my eyes because of my close connection to it and how I was raised and how I was brought up. But above all else, this movie served as an example of what biopics were essentially made for. I'm of the opinion that biopics are made to tell a bigger story than just the life of the subject. Put it to you this way, before going into this movie, I had to think about the title, One Love, and why they chose to name it so. It kind of dawned on me that they didn't name it that because One Love is one of Bob Marley's most popular songs. Though it was billed as a biopic, most of the promo material and the trailers centered around that 3-year time period of Bob's life and career where his music mattered the most, leading up to the One Love Peace concert. So once I took it out of my head that it was going to be a retelling of Bob's entire life and that there was a primary focus and a bigger story to tell, it enhanced my viewing experience. The problem with a lot of people's reviews of this movie is that they felt that it was too short, that it was not well paced, and that they felt like they left some things out, but not realizing that everything that you needed to know was in the movie. It was shown, it was told, and it was implied, whether it was subtle or outright. We've been spoiled by the great New Edition story that every biopic afterwards needs to be 3 hours long or a miniseries. There, I said it. Sometimes less is more. As a matter of fact, what's that line in the movie when talking about the Exodus album? Appearing as less, but meaning more. I hummed when I heard that line because That's what this movie was to me. It appeared as less because it was primarily focused on a specific point of Bob's life in less than 2 hours, but it meant more because of the message it was putting across. The messages of justice, peace, and unity that Bob Marley stood on through his movement that reggae music can change the world and heal nations. That's very relevant during times like these, so why not use his movie as a vehicle to spread that message the same way that his music did? Now, do I wish that this movie had explored a few things a little bit more? Probably. But I honestly don't think this movie left much out. Put it to you this way. At the beginning of the movie, when I heard the names Claudie Massop and Bucky Marshall, I already knew this movie was not going to leave out important things. But what about the infidelities and his various baby mamas? I want you to look me deep in my eyes and tell me, what purpose would that serve the main idea of the movie and the message it was trying to put across? Yeah, I didn't think so. Now, if you made it this far, and if you've watched the movie, if you haven't watched the movie, I need you to keep this in mind. As I was leaving the theater, I had seen a group of older white folks in attendance. For all I know, them and probably other folks, other moviegoers that I've heard talk about this movie, didn't understand a word that was being spoken in this movie. Yet they still showed up and watched the movie because they too were fans of Bob Marley and love what he stood for. Currently, as it stands, it is the #1 movie in America, breaking box office records. That speaks to how much of an icon Bob Marley was, not just culturally, but universally. This movie was a beautiful love letter to Bob Marley, but it was also a movie that helped to show that despite our differences, despite whatever's going on in the world, we can all still come together and receive the same message. One love, one heart, one destiny.